Hi, and welcome to Lights with the Round Table. Okay, with both Polny. What an honor. We are at the Reawaken event here in Miami. And go ahead and take it away because I know that we've been.
But you got to ask some questions first.
I know that.
Tell me which direction you want to go with this.
Financial, because we've been doing a lot of the finance and the situation globally, what's going on with the closure of the banks. We have BRICS. We have the reevaluation of currencies that everybody's anticipating. There's a lot of things. So tell us what's going on, and you go ahead and take it while I take care of my camera that is having a feast over here.
Well, the entire world we live in is based on a money system, it's created out of thin air.
Correct.
And all of this is coming down to a point in time where something has to change, or we continue to live in this crazy world of money printing. And what we're seeing right now is these banks starting to implode. You're seeing the big institutions starting to, okay there?
There you go, more or less. We're going to do this, what is following me. So,
there we go. Okay. Right, so I would say this, the globalist agenda is to take the money system that we're currently using. And so basically the globalists, the Federal Reserve, they run the big banks. And they've been, for years now, been trying to consolidate. And now what we're seeing is even the medium-sized banks, we're seeing in the past couple of weeks, couple of months, are starting to collapse. And we're just seeing this massive shifting, and it's all consolidating. And ultimately, what they're trying to do is bring it all to a central banking system.
Right.
And then ultimately, they want to bring what's called central banking with currency. And, that's their agenda. And it's all great, for them.
Right.
But the problem is that, their agenda is nothing but a Luciferian, demonic, satanic agenda. And that's what we've been watching here happening in the world. But ultimately, at some point, either there's two possibilities. One, this continues on and it heads into what's called the Great Reset. Or the other scenario is we have a biblical intervention, God intervenes, and we have the Great Awakening. This comes down to what's called the clash of the titans. Basically, God versus evil. But, God's on the side of the Great Awakening, evil's on the side of the Great Reset. And, if you understand biblical scriptures, it always never works out for evil. So as much as they're planning all this, they're not going to succeed in their goals. And what are their goals right now? There is a plan for evil. There is a time for evil, but it's not now. So down the road, will they implement a market system? Yes, because it's in the Bible. But the central bank digital currency, yes, they're working their way towards a central bank, controlling humanity and enslaving everybody. But the problem is that it's too early. So we're not in that time. We're not in the time where we're in the tribulation, where the mark of the beast comes out, and and everybody's enslaved. Because if that were the case, then the world would be crazier, and we would be at a different point in time. So is it the Great Reset or is the Great Awakening? And ultimately, the issue for the Great Reset that Klaus Schwab and Yuval Harari, all these globalists are pushing is the window of time that they had is about to come to an end. Yeah. So, those that watch the presentations, ultimately what it comes down to is time. And in the Bible, it talks about time. It's in Daniel 12, verse 7. And it says, that in terms of time, it has time, times, and a half a time. So time is a year. Times is 2 years, that's 3 years, and a half a time is half a year. So 3.5 years. So from when Corona came on scene in January of 2020, do the math. 3.5 years takes us to the end of June. Mm-hmm. So everything that they're planning is about to blow up. Why? Because they can have all these plans and intents that they want, and they're all satanic, demonic, and evil, and disgusting. But when God intervenes, you read Revelation, it says in a single day, the kings of the earth, that's what these people are. They're the kings of the earth, they will weep and wail because all of their plans blew up because God intervened. And that will be the collapse of the financial system. God intervened. The reset comes to a complete screeching halt. The central bank digital currency, the CBDC, comes to a screeching halt. Everything comes to a complete and utter stop as evil gets exposed in what they're doing. And so we have, like I was on stage today saying, there's probably no more than, it's into the end of June, what, 40, 45, whatever, in the 40 to 45 games left before we get into this. If something big's coming.
Right. So we're talking, and the rumors are that something big is coming probably sometime during the summer. Things are going to collapse, not only the financial system, but we need to crush and collapse the entire, the whole economic as far as the health sectors, energy sectors. There's a whole bunch of other things that are a domino effect because of this collapse. The bankers don't have that control. At the same time, we're seeing the evolution, or actually the buzzword finally is getting a little bit raised. We're starting to see what the competition is doing, what other countries doing. They're coming back to asset-backed, gold asset-backed. You have the BRICS. You have the Basel III compliant. A lot of banks are raising Basel III compliant. Basel IV, I understand, is even more stringent, so even banks might not even be able to go to the next level. I also hear Brentwood's right? Might happen. We don't know when. So I find that there's a lot more excitement going on in the future for us. I have a feeling that heaven's coming to earth. That's what I feel that might happen. I think we're going on ascension. We're winning the war. Evil is being crushed.
For a season. So, as much as what you're saying is correct, the thing is, it's for a season because, we're not stopping evil. Right? Evil is going to get stopped for a season. But then, if you read Revelation, it talks about a mortal wound that the beast gets. So the system is right now the beast system gets a mortal wound. But then it stays the mortal wound is healed. So the evil that we're seeing rises again.
When? I don't know if we're going to get our 1,000 years.
No, not right now. No, we're not even close to that yet.
Not yet.
No, because first you have the mortal wounds, and then the beast rises. So the mortal wound is the destruction of the beast, and then the beast system stops, falls. The beast loses all its money. So then you see the Proverbs 13:22, the wealth of the sinner is brought up to the righteous. So that's the great wealth transfer. Well, as actually hasn't happened yet, because when it happens, you'll know. Right now, with silver being controlled, gold being controlled, it hasn't happened yet. Okay, so we haven't seen the wealth transfer, because when you see it, trust me, you'll know. Okay, because you're going to see silver go multiply in a single day. It's not going to go percentages. Silver is going to multiply in a single day. Gold is going to multiply in a single day, and that's the start. That's only the start of the great wealth transfer. So the banking institutions are still in control. Evil still in control. We're seeing things get exposed right now, but then they're trying to brush as quick as they can under the rug. So evil's still in control, and until the glory manifests, we're literally talking not the return of Christ, but the glory manifesting, meaning something biblical is about to manifest. And when this happens, that will stop all of this. But without the manifestation of the glory, nothing will stop us. So God's going to show up. He's going to fulfill scriptures, but that's the mortal wound to the beast. And so the mortal wound is the stopping of this evil system. And then the great wealth transfer follows. You're going to see incredible transfer of wealth. The evil empire, the wealth of the sinners lose all their money. Simply, they will lose their gold and silver. They'll be transferred, to the church. We're going to see a great wealth transfer. You're going to see the collapse, because they built everything with the money. So you see the collapse of the school system that we know, the education system, the political system. You're going to see the collapse of the media, and then it'll be rebuilt, and there'll be a birth of a new. So we're not seeing ascension; we're actually going to see a birth. And the birth specifically would be of a kingdom, God's kingdom. So that's what we're seeing, a birth of a kingdom is what's coming. But in the birth of a kingdom is like John the Baptist, preparing the way for Christ's return in the future. And so this is how it's begun. God's laid it out. And in the future, we're going to see evil rise again. And when evil rises again, that will be, the mark of the beast system. And they're going to raise a system that's going to be basically a digital system. So they're going to use, the chip like they talked about, and chip people, and all this rises in the future. But by that time, those that prepare, those that are, that know what's going on, the church will have the billions and more of the trillions of dollars. So who cares what the beast is doing? because the church is going to be in the world and not of it. So we'll be living here, but not being a part of it.
Great. What is your advice for the common American patriot right now watching and they hear you for the next few weeks? We know that there's a lot of uncertainty and people are getting a little nervous. We have also, statistically speaking, derailment like never before
Yeah.
to definitely damage our infrastructure and make us suffer more through these times. Your advice?
Well, again, evil's got his window of time right now. It's literally down to days that before, once the truth comes out, once the things get exposed of what they're doing, God, and the exposure is going to come with a manifestation of the glory. There's something miraculous is going to happen. And when this miracle happens, evil stops in its tracks. And then, all of their agendas stop. But basically, derailments, everything they're doing is because evil's in control right now. The reason they can do it is because they're in control. But God gave them that window of time. But that time is now, if we're down to days with, where there's 40, a month and only 2 weeks or whatever. There's very, very little time left that they get to play their silly games.
Yeah, June 1st, you mentioned.
End of June. End of June. Yeah. So, days are left for them to play the games. And then that leads us into, there's the summertime. Summer's going to be very dramatic. There's the changes that the world's going to be going through. So, a new era's burst. And incredible blessings are coming to the church. So for preparation, the best answer is know that God's got this. Always pray. Secondly, if you want some food and water, it's always great to have that because when things happen, if you don't have food and water, you're even trying to go to the store to get stuff when craziness is happening in the world. It's chaos. It's going to be chaotic for a while. So food and water is great. And, if you have financial means, like money's in the bank, well, I don't think the bank's going to be doing so great when Babylon falls.
Right.
And so I really hope people will, have to listen and more so on the word. And the word is what? God says the silver and the gold are mine, saith the Lord. That's Haggai 2, verse 8. And so, with the wealth transfer that's coming, silver and gold are going to be directly, the critical part of that wealth transfer, like the part of the wealth transfer.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Sure. Polny, what a pleasure and honor. And thank you very much for your time. I know you're a busy man, so thank you from all of us watching.
God bless you. Thank you for having me on.
You're very welcome. Thank you.